cars are back in Milwaukee for the Miller Genuine Draft 200. As the pace car now threads its way into the pit area, and we look for the green flag, and here we go. 200 miles ahead as Mario Andretti jumps into the lead. Michael comes around on the outside. Both of them get us alongside Rick Mears and pass. Danny Sullivan drops into fourth place. On board with Michael as he chases his father, and Mario Andretti comes around to lead the first of 200 miles here at Milwaukee. It's Bobby Rahal coming up to challenge Sullivan, as now Mario begins to pull a little bit away from Michael. Rick Mears rides in third. Boy, look at Mario at the conclusion of one lap. He's beginning to pull away. On third place, Rick Mears, while Rick tries to close down on Michael Andretti. Ari Luyendyk started in 14th place, has already moved up to 8th as he charges up through this field. We keep our focus at the front of the field, though, as Rahal closes in on Rick.
Now let's keep another mind here while we start this race.
Look at Rick come to the inside. Can he hold on to this one, Bobby Unser? No, Michael cuts him off.
It can't do it, but by the same token, this is one of the widest racetracks in the whole United States, and it's easy to pass. It's a driver's track, and it's certainly, look at Rick. He's going to try it again going into three-turn.
Rick Mears gives it another shot. This time he may, in fact, have it done, as Rick Mears moves down inside of Michael, but they'll be almost side by side as they come onto the home stretch here. And indeed, Michael tries to close in. Robbie Rahal is right there, knowing that if either one of them bobbles, he may have a chance as well. Rahal runs the high line. Rick Mears pulls away from Michael.
Fabulous racing, Mears. You see the bid there by Rahal on Michael.
As Bobby Rahal tries Michael Andretti, and again they're right alongside one another. Nice wide groove here on this very flat Milwaukee Mile, but Rahal moves forward. And now Michael Andretti has to struggle back, but he's going to try Rahal again. No struggle for Michael. He's going to give it a shot. Boy, look back. You're looking back from Bobby Rahal's car. That's Michael just behind him.
Now Michael's been passed by two cars right in a row. He's really starting to figure out, does he have something wrong with his car? You can tell he's driving hard. But what it is, this is a handling man's racetrack. A guy that can work in traffic the best. It's a wide track. The guy that can set his car the best, Paul. 0.8 miles per gallon. And if this race, which is not unrare,
Danny Sullivan battling with Unser Jr. It's a battle for 5th place. Danny Sullivan with that alpha-powered car has been looking very strong here.
Yes, he has been. Again, this short track, the 1 mile track at Milwaukee, really brings the competition together. But if they race this hard all day, fuel is going to be a problem, Paul.
Sullivan's speed, and you see him battle here with Little Al, has come mostly in the turns. Although here he seems to be fairly strong on the straight with that Alfa Romeo engine. In practice, they measured his speed at about 2 miles an hour less on the straight than the Chevy.
Unser Jr., though, making a move forward as he got around first John Andretti, then Danny Sullivan. Now the fight develops between Sullivan and John Andretti, and that is a fight for 6th place. While Mario Andretti continues to lead it, Little Al's looking pretty good.
Well, he is, Paul. In fact, I've just been using the stopwatch.
Look at John. Look at John as he comes inside of Danny Sullivan.
Well, Danny's obviously having a little bit of a problem. He'll have a chassis adjustment on the first pit stop, but I've noticed that Little Al, for example, in just a few laps has gone from 7 seconds down to 4 3/4 seconds behind the leader.
So Rahal right behind Rick Mears. Mario Andretti is still the leader of the race. Bobby Unser, a week ago at Indianapolis, 2.5 miles. This week on a mile at Milwaukee. Can you contrast the two courses as Rahal tries Rick Mears? We'll get to that in a second, Bobby. Look at this. Rahal with Mears staying very, very high on the circuit. And Rahal moves into 2nd place.
That shows you Milwaukee. How you
look at Rick Mears. As you look back from Rahal's car, Rick was going to try to come inside. And he didn't get it done. Rahal maintained the position.
Did you look at the track? Look how wide it is. It's such a nice track to race at. It's the most perfect 1 mile track in the entire world. It's wide. Even though it's right out like banking, you can see how they can run 2 abreast, and they can do it all the way around, which is so rare with an Indy car.
And here is a fight for 4th place as Michael Andretti is trying to hold off a charging Unser Jr.
Shades of the end of last year's race, where, of course, Unser Jr. came up through the pack after a bad qualifying. Look at this here. You see Michael moving down on the inside of Rick.
Michael challenging Rick Mears, and Michael Andretti gets past Rick. Boy, a tremendous fight at the front. Now Rick comes to the outside as Unser Jr. gets him on the inside. Wow!
The fastest
battle at the front.
Yes, the fastest qualifier by far in this race makes Rick Mears pass twice in one lap.
We're back on the Milwaukee Mile, and Unser Jr. is definitely on a charge. There's the leader of the race, Mario Andretti. But little Al has charged up and moved into second place and is now beginning to challenge Mario Andretti. Mario with traffic line just ahead. That's Tony Bettenhausen sitting to the outside. And little Al takes advantage. Little Al gets him on the backstretch. New leader of the race, Unser Jr.
Paul, he's just really been flying. I mean, we've watched in 31 laps. He's gone from 10th place clear to leading the race.
So Unser Jr. is out in front here at Milwaukee.
Second lead in just another 2 laps. Now, they're the ones. If Rick Gallis doesn't slow him down, they're going to have the fuel problem. He's going off the pace.
So it seems like several teams definitely have something to worry about here, Sam Posey.
Whoa, good battle there. You see Michael Andretti not giving up in this battle with Bobby Rahal, but to show you, there he is inside in
Boy,
the
if
ring.
he's having trouble with that car, I'd like to see it. That's a nice little pass. As he comes past Bobby Rahal, and Michael Andretti moves back into third place. And Rick Mears has moved around Bobby Rahal, who is now being challenged by John Andretti. In a continuing fight revolving around 5th place. John Andretti tries the inside. There you see Rick Mears, who is beginning to pull away from Rahal. Rahal has come a little bit off the pace. Perhaps, Bobby Unser, we're talking about some team strategy here. It seemed that they slowed down both little Al and his teammate Bobby Rahal about the same time while we watch a battle for second place between Mario and Michael. Mario is in second right now, but Michael is not letting up on his dad at all. Michael takes a look to the inside on the home stretch. Stays there. Mario comes across. They've got traffic ahead. Michael tries a higher line, and Mario's just looking for a place to push his nose through.
Michael's laying back a little bit, trying to get a run at his dad to get by, which is what he's doing right now, Paul.
They both thread their way past the number 12 car of Pancho Carter, who was in the pits for a very long time and is running off the pace. But Michael and Mario continue their fight, and that gives an even greater advantage to Unser Jr., who's now 9 seconds out in front of the rest of the field.
I asked Mario what the biggest difference between him and Michael was, and he said, I'm more patient than Michael. So we'll have to see who's the more patient in that battle as we ride with Unser Jr., who is just pulling away from this field.
But Bobby, you would think it. Here we are back with the Andretti's once again, and Michael's got his dad modeled up behind another car, and Michael moves around and closes in on Eddie Cheever.
That's the easiest way to pass. Get a guy bogged down in traffic, or his dad was taking one line, the guy in front just blocked him, Michael goes another way.
Eddie Cheever is a lap off the pace, running in 12th place. And now Michael comes around Eddie, as does Mario, and that fight really continues.
Eddie.
2 Scotts battle here in an announcer's nightmare. Scott Brayton and Scott Pruett. They battle right now for 11th place as they move their way up through the field, actually for 7th place, as they're closing down on Bobby Rahal. And look at Scott Brayton as he gets inside Rahal. Scott Pruett in that True Sports All-American car is side by side with Rahal. They come off the 4th turn. Brayton picks up the speed. Scott Pruett gets around Bobby Rahal, and they move forward.
You can't escape the idea that Rahal got past there because he's conserving fuel. He was so aggressive earlier. He has one of the best teams and strategists, and Barry Green behind him. I think he knows what he's doing. Whereas these two men, Brayton and Pruett, who you just see running there, Pruett in the all-red car, have not done well so far this year, and they're seizing this opportunity to run in the first few. Another car. Very good handling by Pruett's True Sports car.
If they don't have, I started to say, Paul, if they don't have yellow flags that come up.
Boy, look at Pruett now. Look at Pruett again, Bobby, as he comes inside of Fittipaldi. Pruett is definitely on a run.
He's on a move. He's handling good. Watch him. He's doing it in the turns, too, because we know he doesn't have all that much horsepower.
While by contrast, Emerson Fittipaldi right behind him in the white and orange car seems to be backing up through this field.
Now, this is going to start making the difference. After this, we're going to start figuring out for the folks just exactly what the game plans are going to be.
Watch Fittipaldi. He isn't even coming out close to the walls. He must be very tentative in that car right now.
Fittipaldi seemingly very uncertain as the first of the cars now begin to take a hard look at pit road. Scott Brayton being one of those as Scott Goodyear goes around Emerson Fittipaldi. And Goodyear moves into 12th place. Fittipaldi continuing to fall backward. There's rolls into his pit for quick service from the Gallus Craco organization. Let's go down there. Unser Jr. makes his stop. Everything routine to this point, but of course he gives up the lead 12 seconds running through. Stop goes just a tick long, now 14.2 seconds. That's a pretty good stop.
Yes, it is, and it shows that he's very happy with the car because there were no chassis adjustments made that we could see. Only more on Rahal's. They let the wing down on the left front.
And here is the leader of the race in, Gary Punch.
Scheduled pit stop for Michael Andretti. Remember, he had a loose pump. They were going to try to adjust the tire pressure a little bit and also make a wing adjustment. They changed all 4 tires, and now they make a major right front wing adjustment. They're holding the car, make sure they get the winter bill replaced in the rear of the car, and now dropping the and away. So a major chassis adjustment to try to cure the loose problem for Michael Andretti.
And
It's not running good. He can keep his momentum up good because he's really been handling super good, but he's having a hard time passing. He should have shot by Cheevers right there, but he just barely makes it.
Remember that after Indianapolis of last year, as you see little Al duel with Eddie Cheever and little Al on the outside, the blue and white car. After Indianapolis last year, he came out of there with the championship lead. He won this race, and he went on to win the championship quite handily. Now this year he comes out of Indianapolis back in 4th place with only 42 points compared to Rick Mears' 58. He badly needs some points here if he's going to repeat as PPPG champion.
are on board with Eddie Cheever. There's little Al. Boy, look at him cut through there. That's Danny Sullivan that tucks in behind him, and that was real close, believe me.
It's not likely that an engine can mess and run the race all day. This will probably develop into something worse.
Look at this. And there is Rick Mears, who is now closed down on Unser Jr. Al, remember, is having an engine problem, and Rick is right there ready to get him.
And you can see the difference. I'm not too sure that both those cars aren't having problems right now, but look at them through the turns and then compare the straightaway. Paul, I really think that Rick's having problems too.
Rick Mears, not too much trouble getting past little Al, though. Well, the point is well taken, Bobby Unser. Michael Andretti is driving a superlative race.
You see such a, that's Shelley Unser, of course, Al's wife. You see so much emotion reflected on her face earlier when he was surging through the pack and taking the lead. Now she's a little more subdued, thinking, what's going on out there?
Here, the balance, of course, can impact that, but Rahal had a problem with the right rear tire that was extremely worn on his first stop.
And as you can see, Unser Jr. dropped out of third place and comes into the pit.
Negative.
And Owen Snyder, the crew, going to work on that car with the cowling coming off. And the fight now at Milwaukee is for third place. If Mario Andretti is there right now, but that red car right behind him, that's none other than Scott Pruett, number 11, who is challenging Mario Andretti and trying to take third place away. In the meantime, that is Michael, who is the leader of the race, who is running just behind them.
What you're seeing here, Scott Pruett in the red car, this is one of the biggest moments, if not the biggest, in his life as a racing driver. Remember, he was badly injured last spring, 16 months ago. His legs were badly beaten up. He missed all of last year's season. You see him battling now. He has never run this high in an IndyCar race before, this solidly early in the game. He did have 1 second place 2 years ago, but this is the best he's done. And remember, it is with a brand new chassis built all in the United States.
And of course, he battles with a master, Mario Andretti. Pruett's best finish on an oval came here in 1989 when he finished 5th. Now, if fuel is the question, Bobby Unser, what about Pruett? Does he have, with a different engine, the Judd engine, a better opportunity?
Well, not really, Paul, and I'm going to tell you why. That engine first came out, it was the best computer engine that there was. But now the Chevrolet has got up and done just as good on the computer. The difference being is it does produce less horsepower than the Chevrolet engine, so therefore he may make better mileage
Oh,
from
watch
that.
it. Pruett's going to try him everywhere. He poked his nose inside. Mario slammed the door on him. Now he's trying outside, and I hope he stays aware of the fact that Michael Andretti is just behind him.
But Michael is going to be a lap ahead when he does that. In other words, they really don't want to worry about Michael because, hey, he's worried about Scott Pruett's worried about Mario.
I want to make sure he doesn't recognize that he recognizes Michael's there and doesn't cut him off. You look from on board Michael Andretti. That's the fight just ahead.
You know, it just might be that Michael is sitting looking at that. Nobody's pushing him really close and saying, boy, my daddy's having a heck of a job up there. I better leave him alone for a bit.
And Bobby, notice, too, that although Pruett is relatively inexperienced in IndyCar ranks, you notice the Andrettis, who are very experienced, are not afraid to run very close to him. He's a clean driver with a marvelous reputation. He won the opening race of this year in the IROC Championship. And, of course, he's having just a fabulous day right here.
It was great while it lasted. Sorry you're out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and there is Scott Pruett as he now moves alongside of Mario. Can he hold on to it?
Yes.
Yeah, he's on the main stretch. And there is Michael, who is still in the lead of this race and right there with him.
A pass on the outside, Paul. I tell you, that's a hard pass.
There's Rick Mears, second place, coming up to challenge Michael.
Whoa!
And boy, that's a pretty easy pass. Either Rick is working real well or Michael decided to let him go through. What do you think?
Well, I think it's Michael not working quite as well. Rick has just been about the same all day. Remember, Rick is probably the most experienced oval track driver that we have here today. He's thinking more at the end of the race.
So Rick is trying to push Mario a lap down, and Mario is running in 4th place right now.
Rick has led in 9 of the last 11 races on 1 mile ovals and won 4 of them. Might he be the new master of oval track racing? Many think that he is.
And there goes Rick under Mario. That's Ari Luyendyk that sits just ahead of Rick right now on the racetrack. But Ari, of course, is back in the order as Rick is carving his way up through this field and really on a roll now. 109 miles are complete. And back in the action, Ari Luyendyk as he continues the fight with Eddie Cheever. By the way, Vince Granatelli, the car owner, figured out without that pit stop last year, as there goes Luyendyk around, that Ari would have been out in front by 80 seconds at the end of the Indianapolis 500. But of course, they had a very long stop. Here with a very long stop is Scott Pruett. And he was running in 3rd place when he came in, but now he stalled the engine. They have the new starter motor over the wall.
Notice as Scott Brayton pulls in right in front of Scott Pruett, notice the black new asphalt there in the pits, all redone for this year. And one of the reasons, as you see Scott Brayton's car being worked on, the cars have come in so precisely and been able to stop right where they mean to, is because that new pit lane has such good grip.
And we have a yellow flag for the first time in this race. Comes in a most opportune moment. And no indication as the reason for the yellow, certainly not a substantial impact. And here is Eddie Cheever in. There's the leader of the race, Rick Mears. You can see that Bobby Rahal is already in his pit. And Mears, will they make any changes on the car? Doesn't appear so. Just going to change all 4 tires and refuel it.
Well, that's a good sign. If they don't do any changing on that, means he likes the car and he's handling good. The only thing he shouldn't have to worry about in that particular case is the mileage, Paul.
Yellow at lap 130, 70 laps yet to go. Bobby, that seems to say that there is going to be another pit stop, and very close to the end of the race as we watch Michael Andretti make his stop. And Luyendyk, he's stalled. They're trying to get him down and out of the way. And boy, look at Michael. Michael comes right around very quickly.
Very fortuitous moment for Michael for that yellow to come out, not unlike last week at Indianapolis when his dad's problems brought a yellow out for him when he needed it.
There is. We're still under a caution condition here on the Milwaukee Mile. As to why, let's get an up.
It was contact. Scott Pruett was involved. He got into the back end, we believe, Scott Brayton's car. Here is the nose. They already changed the nose and the front wing, and you can see where the side plate here on the right side is skewed out and where it's been torn away from the wing plate down on front. They made the change. Amazing that we've had so few instances of yellow or any contact on this busy racetrack. It's really been quite astounding. Paul?
And ready to go green once again as the green comes out. And the leader of the race, of course, is still Rick Mears. Look back through the field for Rick as Rick comes into the pits. Rick rolls into the pits under the green flag.
His
and
engine
rolls
was
right on through.
He was going too fast, but it sounds like his engine missing. We've got to listen to it the next time around, Paul. I think he's lost a cylinder.
What a terrible blow for Rick Mears as Michael Andretti picks up the lead of the race. Rick rolled into the pits and rolled right back out.
Now let's watch him and see if he comes back around. If it is, it means that he's lost a cylinder also, very much like little Al.
So we keep an eye on Rick Mears. And let's see where he's gone. He stays out, but the engine sounded soft.
Sounds terrible. He's got 7 cylinders. I'm sure that that's the car that's making the noise as he goes by, Paul.
Why would they? All right, Rick rolls into the pits. Gary Gerald waits.
And boy, the disappointment in this crew after the elation of Indianapolis a week ago. Mears hits the spot. He shuts the engine down. Richard Buck goes to work on the right side. They'll peel the cowling off. We saw a black box. We saw a battery. We saw another piece of electronic gear. They'll try to replace all of those, refire the engine, see if the problem has gone away. But this is going to deprive Rick Mears of a possible another victory here at Milwaukee. Let's go to...
All these guys are going to get a new boost because they know that Little Al is out and Rick Mears is out. 2 of the favorites.
And there's A.J. Foyt as he comes to the end. Oh, look at that.
motor.
Telltale smoke at the back of the car. Motor, turbo, somewhere there. Boy, what a rough time he's having.
And what an ovation he got from this crowd when he was introduced just minutes before the start of the race.
We'll see what happens when he rolls around here. Tremendous crowd here in Milwaukee. Rick Mears, by the way, has rolled back into the pits. Michael Andretti, the leader of the race. 153 miles complete. You want to bet on an Andretti? First, second, and third. Michael, John, Mario, then Bobby Rahal and Scott Brayton. But Michael Andretti is on a lap all by himself. John and Mario are battling with one another, but they are a full lap behind Michael.
Now in the turns.
In the pits, they keep track of John Andretti. Look at Fittipaldi as Fittipaldi gets right up alongside and squeezes in between the slower car of Pruett and Eddie Cheever as they come on the front stretch. Can Fittipaldi get past them on the inside? No, Cheever a little bit faster into the corner. Cheever is still trying to hold off Fittipaldi, and Fittipaldi was all the way down into the grass on that corner. Now he comes onto the backside, and the battle leads off a little bit.
Fittipaldi is not running either, Paul. He's got something wrong with his engine because he's too slow. He's not only slow in the corners, but he's slow in the straightaways also.
And a yellow flag showing again, apparently for debris on the track. Yellow flag comes out because Scott Pruett did not make it all the way into the pits. They had hoped he would, but the yellow flag now comes out on the 166th mile with Scott Pruett sitting right at the entrance to the pits. We'll be back with more from Milwaukee.
But this track has not been, there's Pancho Carter in the Archero car. This has not been a kind track to Emerson. The best he's ever finished here, I was going to say, is third.
And Pancho is, I don't think he's going to make it around, so they're probably going to go yellow once again. Back in Milwaukee, battle developing now for the 5th position with Danny Sullivan challenging Scott Brayton. Comparison of power, Chevrolet with Scott Brayton's car. Alfa Romeo power and Danny Sullivan's machine. Remember, that car for Danny ran very strong at Phoenix. Also had a pretty good run going at Indianapolis.
Now what they do with that Alfa engine, the one right, the black and gold car, that's the Alfa right there with Danny Sullivan, Paul, is they turn up the RPM. They run a lower gear in it. Now the Alfa hasn't been, it's a new engine. It hasn't been perfected for a lot of RPM yet.
He told me yesterday, no way we're going to run out of fuel this year. I hope he's right.
The white flag, 1 lap to go. Was at this point last year that he was devastated. But no, now he continues on at speed.
Halfway down the back straightaway, Paul, we know he can coast the rest of the way, so Michael should make it.
Michael Andretti, as the crew looks ahead, anticipating a win. If he comes all the way around to the checkered flag, the 15th win of young Michael Andretti's career. And now it's already in the record book. Michael Andretti for Nick Bernardi's twin checkered flags. And Michael Andretti has won here in Milwaukee. Michael Andretti, who was so powerful at Indianapolis, but not powerful enough to take on Rick Mears. Rick Mears having his problems in the early going as John Andretti comes across the line in 2nd place. Mario Andretti will come across in 3rd. Bobby Rahal 4th, and Danny Sullivan in 5th. We'll be back right after this.